and Michaela Cole is called out. So Screen Actors Guild have caught this, but it is absolutely bonkers that that hasn't been picked up by the Golden Globes.
Welcome back, everyone. Phil Marry here, once again joined by Sean Vickers today, discussing the nominations for the 78th Golden Globe Awards, which happens on the 28th of February. Sean, very exciting.
I can't believe it. It's come around so quickly, isn't it? So I think, I love an award ceremony because I'm always into the scandal, you know, and I think today we're going to talk about the Golden Globes. We're going to talk about the Screen Actors Guild as well. There's some overlap and there's not some overlap. And in some ways, I think the Screen Actors Guild has kind of mopped up some of what I think are quite scary, like kind of omissions that should have been in the list this year, which is kind of, I guess, the purpose of today's conversation, which is kind of play around with the list and see what's missing. I mean, there's some awesome material there. And there's also some things that I'm like, where's that?
The controversy surrounding the Golden Globes especially is the omission of Michaela Cole's show, which everybody was raving about it. Everybody was saying it was really genuine. It was really unique. It was a real game changer as well for TV drama. Yet she's not nominated. I mean, it's just the most bizarre thing, isn't it?
It's bonkers. And I think, so when you think about that category, and excuse me, listeners and viewers, because my memory is dreadful, but when you think about the best performance by an actress in a limited series, anthology series, or a motion picture, completely missing from the Golden Globes. Interesting, the SAG Awards, so the Screen Actors Guild, they have outstanding performance by a female actor in a television movie or miniseries, and Michaela Cole is called out. So Screen Actors Guild have caught this, but it is absolutely bonkers that hasn't been picked up by the Golden Globes. Now, there is a question around Universal Television, which is how I think the Golden Globes positions it, which I think is even more bonkers. But yeah, completely snubbed in some ways, if I can use that word.
Yeah, well, the TV show obviously is I May Destroy You, which I think is easily the best TV show that I've seen over the last year. It dealt with some really serious issues. It dealt with some issues in a comedic way too. So it wasn't completely dark and ominous, but obviously it had that feel about it that people could identify with it because it dealt with issues like, sexual assault and relationships and friendships in a really real way. There's a really interesting tweet actually from Alice Lowe, the actress and writer, who tweeted, I think it was yesterday, she tweeted, "Revolutionise the genre, this show. Maybe that's too scary for some," which I thought was quite interesting because I think that's quite accurate because I think a lot of people couldn't deal with how kind of bold it was.
Yeah, I think, and I agree, and it touched on so many topics and dealt with so many topics in the right way. It's often I read a lot of reviews at the time when this came out about people saying, not sure whether this show could have been made in the US because often some things are really heavily laboured. And I think Michaela Cole did such an amazing job on this. Yeah, but I guess it didn't land. It didn't land with the panel at the Golden Globes, with the people that are reviewing the movies and the miniseries and the TV shows. Luckily, I hope it will be picked up by the SAG and she'll be recognised for this amazing work. I'm sure at the BAFTAs for sure. But that's the first big omission, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it's been a really tumultuous year, hasn't it? It has been anyway, but for the industry, for the film and TV industry, it's been a really difficult time for the businesses and obviously the artists and the creative people involved. And we're 2 months late, aren't we, for the Golden Globes this year? Because it should have happened two months ago, or at the end of February, it will be 2 months later.
That's right. So let's go through some big topics. So, I mean, Best Motion Picture as a drama, Golden Globes, an interesting list. Nomadland is there. Now, Nomadland was at London Film Festival very recently.
I saw it. Did you see it?
I didn't. I was going to ask you about that because I know you saw that.
It was incredible. I mean, Frances McDormand, I'm sold anyway, usually, with films that she's in. She was absolutely outstanding in this. And it's such a great, compelling movie, too, because she really... She does own it, but it's not all down to her. Obviously, it's down to the direction as well. But it's a beautiful film. It's really engaging. I loved it.
Amazing. I missed it at LFF. It was on my list, as you know. You and I did a big discussion about what we were watching. It was on my list, and unfortunately, I missed it. Interesting. Some of the some of the crossover between the Golden Globes and the Screen Actors Guild. The Trial of Chicago 7 featuring on both lists, which was obviously the Netflix show, which was incredibly powerful. The omission from the Golden Globes was The Five Bloods, which is the Spike Lee movie, which SAG have picked up on. One Night in Miami, which is the Regina King directed movie. I saw it very recently. It's amazing. And so I'm very happy that both of those films have turned upon the Screen Actors Guild list for Best Movie.
And Regina King as well, a very prominent, artist, actress as well, especially obviously is it her directorial debut?
I'm not sure, but I think, well, she does an amazing job. It's that film, One Night in Miami, is taken from a play that I think was done in 2013, 2014. Don't quote me on that, but it's definitely from a play. It carries across really well. It's a great piece of cinema. I
think it's going to be all about the women this year because I should have mentioned Viola Davis as well, who is also nominated in I think she's up against Frances McDormand for Best Actress. I think.
Yes.
Did I read that
right? Yeah. So let's talk about, actually, let's go there, Phil. It's really interesting. So Best Actress in a Motion Picture, there's some real commonality between the Golden Globes and the Screen Actors Guilds. Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand for Nomadland, and Carey Mulligan for Promising Young Woman. The difference between the lists are Andra Day for the United States versus Billie Holiday is on the Golden Globes list, and Amy Adams for Hillbilly Elegy is on the Screen Actors Guild. But there's some real commonality there. So I think we can start to feel what will carry through to the Oscars. And similarly with Best Actor, pretty much the same across the board. So Riz Ahmed for Sound of Metal.
He's amazing.
Chadwick Boseman posthumously for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Anthony Hopkins for The Father, and Gary Oldman for Mank. They are the common names that are carrying across.
Yeah.
Golden Globes, you have Tara Rahim, who we've all recently seen in The Serpent. He's nominated for a Golden Globe for The Mauritanian, and Stephen Yellin for Minari at the Screen Actors Guild. But again, it's pretty neck and neck across Best Actor, Best Male Actor, Best Female Actor across both of those awards.
And isn't this really interesting as well, going back to the Golden Globes, because they've nominated only 5 female directors in its 78-year history as well. I was reading about that earlier.
Absolutely,
which is
bonkers.
Isn't it crazy? And this year, I think they've nominated 3 just in 1 year alone. So I think we're seeing that shift, aren't we? Thank God. We're seeing that female artists, female creative people are starting to be recognised, and so they should be.
Yeah, agreed. It's been a great year, and I think we're starting to see that talent come through. And I talk about this a lot with my husband. Like, the awards are really just a reflection of what's happening in the industry. So what you need is the entire industry to change for the awards to change. And so I think we're seeing that come through much stronger this year, which is amazing. I am going to have to talk about the prom. I know you liked.
I was thinking should we talk about the elephant in the room?
I know you want to talk about the prom. I probably don't want to talk about the prom, but just so we're clear, the prom has been nominated for Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy.
Is it either of those things?
I don't know. I mean, I look at that list. It's interesting. And then I have to say, the thing that sticks in my throat is James Corden being nominated for Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy for the prom. For me, it's a reach. I know we have very different views about the prom film.
Well, it's funny because I really enjoyed the movie. I mean, we could discuss that maybe later, but he's up against Dev Patel, which, I don't think you can really compare them. But of course, James Corden, a very prominent figure, has been over the last few years, particularly in the States, because of the chat show. But I don't know whether, he could pull that off, or maybe his profile will mean that he will pull it off. But I don't think it should be down to his profile. I think it should be down to performance and also the role.
Yeah. It's a very, it's let's put it this way. It's created debate, which is always great within the film world, to create debate. So it has
no such thing as bad publicity.
Exactly. And so, there's a few things I'm struggling with. That's the first one. The second one I'm struggling with is Emily in Paris, which got nominated for Best Television Series, Musical, or Comedy by the Golden Globes. Again, now listen, it's a great bit of light TV washed over us all. But for it to see in this kind of list against things like The Great or like Schitt's Creek or Dead to Me or The Flight Attendant, it's a reach for me. And I think both Emily in Paris from the Golden Globes and Bridgerton, which has been nominated for Outstanding Performance by an Ensemble in a Drama Series, I really think have been aided by the pandemic. You had a lot of people sat at home, and I think Bridgerton and Emily in Paris have been kind of like guilty pleasures, and I think that may be why they're appearing on the lists. So there's a few things that have kind of like stuck in my throat a little. I thought what was very, very interesting was Glenn Close has been nominated for Hillbilly. Excuse me.
It really did stick in your throat, didn't it?
Yeah, I know. It actually has to come out. Glenn Close has been nominated for Hillbilly Elegy in the Best Actress bracket for a motion picture. And Amy Adams also got nominated for Hillbilly Elegy, but the actual film itself has not been warranted any awards. So both of the female actors really been recognised for Hillbilly Elegy, which was on Netflix in the UK, but the film itself actually not scooping anything else, which I think is interesting. Have you seen it, Phil?
I haven't seen it, but I've read some of the reviews and they were very sniffy, these critics, about that, because, you know, obviously, like you were saying, the actresses and the actors in this are heavyweights, aren't they? But I don't think that was enough in some reviews. I read that, you know, it's down to poor script and just terrible direction.
Whilst we're talking about television series, I think one of the shows that I have absolutely loved in season 1 and season 2 is What We Do in the Shadows. Again, What We Do in the Shadows is there's an admission across the board for what I think is great TV.
Yeah, there was a movie as well, wasn't there?
There was a movie, first of all, set in New Zealand, and then obviously then the series is carried across to the US. It's the vampire one, like comedy spoof vampire one, but it's done in a kind of fly-on-the-wall documentary.
Yeah.
It's by the director that did Jojo Rabbit, Taika Waititi. And so, yeah, I think it's a big admission around that, because it's, for me, and you know, we can have a chat about it because I know you love a horror. Yeah. I love the spoof element of it, and it's got a really fantastic, primarily British cast who play the vampires. I'm a bit heartbroken that What We Do in the Shadows is not referenced on the lists.
Yeah. Did you see Jodie Foster as well nominated in that category that Glenn Close is in for the best, is it supporting role? Best performance by an actress in a supporting role?
She is in Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture. Yeah, so Jodie Foster for The Mauritanian is in that list with Olivia Colman, Amanda Seyfried and Helena Zengel.
Because I think Jodie Foster maybe kind of fell off the radar a little bit. Maybe it's because she was directing movies and she was doing other things. But I think, you know, I mean, years and years back, we would have seen her pretty much nominated for everything. But now I think she's got such strong competition from people who are maybe more prominent. I don't know, but...
Interesting you say that, Phil, because there is a huge omission. So Meryl Streep, who is the most celebrated person in Golden Globe history with 32 nominations, does not get a mention at all. And if you remember, in the last 12 months, she's done The Prom and Let Them All Talk. So it's interesting that Corden is nominated, Meryl Streep is not, but nothing for Meryl in this list.
Yeah, because I thought Meryl was great in The Prom. I know you didn't like that movie. I did, but I kind of saw it for what it was. I know there was a lot of controversy with obviously James Corden not playing a gay role, queer role as a straight man. But I don't know. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I know. I mean, we maybe should do a flick flop on The Prom because we're never going to see eye to eye on this film. But do you know what? I take it for what it is. I guess one of the final things I'd like to close out on is probably best television limited series, anthology series, or motion picture for television. So Normal People nominated by the Golden Globe. I mean, amazing TV. I think what's interesting. So within that category, you have Normal People, The Queen's Gambit, Small Acts, which, as you know, absolutely adored at London Film Festival, and it's aired across the BBC. Incredible.
And then The Undoing.
I mean,
I mean, that's the turkey in that category, if you ask me.
The Undoing.
Such strong competitors, but then you've got The Undoing, which I thought was terrible. Well,
I mean, the other one we've missed out, which is on that list, is Unorthodox, which is also incredible TV, and then The Undoing, which I just think is an absolute turkey.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised. Interestingly enough, though, the two leads from Normal People, which is Paul Mescal and Daisy Edgar Jones, not a sniff for them.
It's crazy,
the Screen Actors Guild. But I am happy that it's been recognised at the Golden Globes because amazing bit of TV. I'll close out with something quite interesting, Phil. Nominations by motion picture distributor. Maybe my Sheffield's kicking in.
You say tomato, I say tomato.
I say tomato. Yeah, exactly. So when I look at the list, 22. So the number one distributor is Netflix with 22 of those nominations, followed by Amazon Studios, Focus Features and Searchlight. But Netflix 3 times more nominations than the next closest, which was Amazon Studios. That is a massive change in the way that people are consuming this kind of media.
It really is. And I think it's because, you know, Netflix and chill, you know, you think back to that catchphrase, and it has become the norm, hasn't it, to use Netflix in conversation because so many people are using it. But it's also that kind of word of mouth thing, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. It's the landscape has changed, and you can wrestle against it, but the landscape has changed. The way that we were consuming this type of media pre-pandemic was already changing. There was already like a shift, and the pandemic really, for globally, has moved people's the way people view things. You know, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I mean, the cinemas will reopen, but I generally think there has been a shift and a change. So yeah, I found those statistics kind of like eye-opening about where we're at really as an industry.
Yeah, definitely. And you think about the festivals as well, like the upcoming BFI Flair Festival. We did the London Film Festival late last year. You know, they've adapted to service the press, you know, with these movies online. And of course that's changed also because, you know, more films, like you say, are being available online to enjoy at home because we don't have any choice at the moment. We've got no choice because we can't get to the cinemas. But yeah, it's interesting how that has changed. And I think, you know, a lot of theatre productions as well are also kind of, you know, broadcasting their shows.
Well, I'm looking to, it's interesting you mentioned Flair. I'm absolutely cannot wait for Flair. Yeah.
And it's weeks
coming
away.
Up. It's weeks away. We're starting to get the emails. The dates are coming through. I can't wait to see the online, you know, list, and I'm really excited. It's coming towards us very quickly, Phil. And as ever, we'll be doing what we can to share our thoughts across the Flair Festival because it
absolutely
is brilliant.
Oh, I cannot wait. It's going to be great fun. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a like, a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and don't forget to check out all the other stuff we've done. It's a Sin Unpackings every week, every Friday, and of course lots of people have binged those already. So if you have seen all of those episodes, check out our reviews. It's great feedback on those as well. So thank you if you have watched any of those videos because it's been really enjoyable actually for both of us, isn't it, to do those. And it's something a little bit different as well because we've been obviously doing it every Friday and it's almost like a watch party in some respects, isn't it?
Totally. And I have to say, I mean, they've been a real pleasure to do because what I love about it is when we do our 10 p.m. live after the premiere, and if you're around, join us at 10 p.m. because the live discussion that goes with it is actually heartwarming because I think a lot of people after watching It's a Sin need a space to kind of unpack it, literally unpack it and talk to people. Like, you know, you would talk about it in the pub or you go to a cafe or a restaurant. We don't have it at the moment in the pandemic. And so we've found really big numbers of people joining us for the live discussion after the episode. So if you're around at 10 p.m, you've watched the episode and you want to unpack it a bit, come join us.
Yeah, definitely. I think people do need to talk. You're right. It's quite cathartic, isn't it? Especially if you've been through something similar, that experience. I think it's good to get it off your chest because people have been really upset about it. I mean, understandably, because it's a really heartbreaking series. But yeah, come and join us for those if you haven't already. Good to see you, Sean. See you for the BFI Flair. If not before, I'm sure we'll be doing lots of other reviews before that.
I'm sure.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.
Bye now.